Well, hi everybody, my name is Matt Klaskowski over here at Kelby One, and we're here today to kind of give you a little special introduction to a brand new tool that's out there. I'm joined by Dan Hughes from Macphun Software and Alan Shapiro from Alan Shapiro Photography, and Dan, I'm just going to kind of turn it over to you. So a brand new program called Tonality. What do you got?
So basically we've got a brand new black and white solution that is a both standalone and plugin for Photoshop, Lightroom, Aperture, and Photoshop Elements. Pretty exciting new stuff. There's a whole feature set that's very different than any solution that's out there now, and a really cool workflow. It's very simple to use and to get started with.
And we brought in our resident kind of guru out there because you absolutely, I mean, you've really adopted this.
I love presets. I love playing in the post-processing world, and for me, having another tool that is as intuitive as this is it's a wonderful thing.
Cool. All right, so let's just jump right into it.
Absolutely.
Kind of show everybody a quick overview of what you can do with one of the photos here.
So Alan mentioned one of the really cool key features of the software, and that would be the presets. There's over 100 of them built into the software. They're broken into different kinds of presets.
By the way, people love presets.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's funny because you see so many settings and everything like that, and I think the place where people gravitate toward first is probably going to be the presets.
Most definitely. And the cool aspect of this stuff is that you can turn all the presets down from the 100% sort of adjustment, and then you've also got all sorts of different kinds of presets. So right now we're in the basic, but maybe we'd move into the portrait presets and take a gander.
So when you say turn it down,
good call.
You just applied one.
So I clicked on one of the presets, but you have an opacity slider right here. So I don't have to worry about kind of going in and into Photoshop itself and pulling back, let's say, a layer opacity. I can do it right here in the interface.
Dude, that's the slider, because you use Lightroom too, right, Alan?
Oh yeah, totally.
That is the slider that everybody
slider.
has always wanted inside of Lightroom.
Absolutely.
Because everybody likes our Lightroom presets. And the number one question is how can I turn it down? And there really is no way.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
All right, sorry, I'll stop.
So one of the other kind of interesting aspects of not only having your different preset categories is that you don't necessarily have to use a portrait preset for a portrait.
In fact, you shouldn't, because this is about exploration. You may start there, but you may find that a street grouping or any of the HDR things is a better place for you as you identify your own vision.
So let's go ahead and actually try one of the outdoor presets on our portrait here. So I'll click on the detailed landscape. It's a little bit too strong, so I'm just going to dial it down just a touch and then take a quick look at the before and after. So there's the before and there's the after. I think it's a nice sort of subtle transition. As we give it a little bit more real estate there, you can kind of take a gander as to what it's doing.
That's
Nice.
cool. So one of the things I see is over on the right-hand side, you can see like some are yellow, some are like, you got all the different, obviously the settings that you can use. Some are yellow, some are white. So how do you know which ones you want to work with?
Yeah, so as we click on each one of those presets, or as you use any of the individual tools, let's say I go and darken down the image with a tone curve, you'll notice that the tool palette itself is going to be highlighted in yellow.
Oh, so you can see you can see changes you've done.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
cool.
So it's
And
great.
the reason this is important is, people start with presets. They love presets. But then as we're learning and trying new things, to be able to go in and deconstruct what the preset did so you can see exactly the level of whatever that slider was, and then start from there and start experimenting. That's a powerful thing as we all learn and grow.
And it's almost like a reverse engineer.
Absolutely.
Which again, I keep speaking because I know you're a Lightroom guy too, is that's another question people say, because you have Lightroom presets out there.
Oh yeah.
And people always, how do I see what's inside of a preset?
How did he do that? Yeah.
And it's probably one of the big questions out there. Is you can actually see what is in the preset.
I think it's a really cool, powerful feature for that sort of stuff.
Throw some split toning on that.
Okay, cool, yeah. So yeah, you've got your basic sorts of presets in all the preset categories, but you've also got a toning section here.
Now, does that negate what you just did?
No, in fact, what I did is I added a new layer on top of layer 0. So we're basically stacking presets together. Yeah, so that's not affecting anything, except for what you see on screen here. And again, you can sort of dial that up or dial it down as you see fit.
Cool.
Maybe leaving that tone about there. Looks pretty darn good.
Alan, you've I know you've kind of adopted this early on. You've been testing this for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I know you work a lot with black and white photos. So I guess what's different about?
There's a couple of things different, but at the top level, it's just another tool that is very easy to use. I find that the algorithms that the programmers have used to develop how things are transformed are just a little bit different. So it's about personal vision. and I find it's just great fun to play with. So.
Yeah, and I think we were talking earlier. You said there's a lot of tools out there. Everything has its place. But
so the aspect of layers, the aspect of some of the power user tools, which we'll be talking about in a later episode, because that's where the fun's going to come in. That's, for me, this just has, I don't even know what to say on
a feel.
Yeah.
A feel. Which is okay. I think a feel is actually probably a good way to kind of talk about it. All right, so we looked at a portrait before, we got a landscape.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and what we did before is we opened the software as a standalone. Mm-hmm. So here we're within Photoshop, and I'll just go ahead and launch Tonality Pro.
So it shows up where all your filters show
Absolutely,
up.
right there in your filter drop-down menu. Same thing goes for Lightroom users. So you just right-click on your image, go to Edit In, and it's going to show up wherever your other sorts of standard plugins that work that way. So as we open up the software, again, what I would usually do is start with a preset, right? So maybe we'll go into the outdoor presets and click on something like Detailed Landscape. And let's just hide the presets right there. Take a quick look at what's going on.
You got to work on the sky a little bit.
Yeah, and I like what's happening down here in the bottom portion of the image, but there was full detail up here in the sky, so I say we go ahead and add in a layer, move into the tone section, and I'm just going to go ahead and darken this down. We've got some proprietary tools like the adaptive exposure and smart contrast as well, which is going to allow us to control the density and the feel of the image in a different way. Moving into clarity and a little bit of structure here as well, I'm really only going to pay attention to the sky. I don't really care what's happening to the bottom of the photograph because we can sort of finish this off by going into our gradient tool and then just applying what we've done on this layer right there in the top portion of the image.
So you're kind of like, it's like a layer mask in Photoshop.
Yep, yeah, precisely.
Now can I know you used a gradient on there, can you brush on it too?
You absolutely can, yeah. So here I'll add a little bit of a vignette on that one. I'm just going to go into my eraser tool. So you've got your brush and your eraser in the upper right-hand corner. I can actually see my mask by clicking the Show button, and maybe we don't want the effect on the pier so much. So using my trackpad, I'll just go ahead and brush that out really quickly and make sure I kind of don't hit below the horizon either.
Cool.
Pretty powerful stuff.
Nice stuff.
Voila.
Yeah, all built in.
Now, Matt, I don't know that I've ever seen you do a black and white landscape, and I know you love landscapes, so come on, take a look, check this out.
No, it's very cool. So I mean, I probably have not done a black and white landscape.
Throw down.
I shoot a lot of portrait work too, a lot of lifestyle, family type portraits, and to me, when I do my black and white conversions, that's generally what I'm going to do it on. It's when it comes to outdoor. Color kind of grabs me, but when it comes to portraits, I think light tends to grab me first, which is why black and white works well for it there.
You're revealing the soul.
Personal taste.
Yep.
All right, so it takes us back to Photoshop. So I noticed one thing. There's a little sensor spot up there. So I'm assuming you can fit, which didn't show up in the color photo really because we just added a lot of contrast to the sky.
Yeah.
I assume you can fix that in Photoshop. If you're in Tonality, you guys have a cloning healing program too, right?
So one of the other pieces of software that Macphun offers is a solution for removing unwanted objects, like that sort of stuff.
Snapheal?
Snapheal and Snapheal Pro.
So you can jump right to it from inside there.
Yep, you can export directly into it. Or you can use those tools as plugins for Photoshop, Lightroom and Aperture as well.
Okay. All right, so one last example.
Yep, so we've got one last portrait image. Definitely kind of a cool stark photograph here.
Yeah.
And you've got all sorts of different kinds of presets that again will allow you to create some really cool effects with single clicks. But then again, you can kind of grow with the software and get basically a lot more control over exactly what's happening to your image. And then even beyond that, you can create your own presets.
And then I got to hand it to you guys because they're nice big thumbnails. I mean, it's easy to see, so that helps out a lot.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I want to show you is sort of some of the differences between your clarity tools, and then also mention for more advanced users, as folks kind of grow with the software, you can actually right-click on your layer, and you've got a context menu with a whole bunch of different kinds of capabilities, including the Use Original Source, which is a really awesome tool that doesn't exist anywhere else and offers users just something that's completely different so that you can be way more creative and get effects that otherwise you couldn't do.
Neat. And then I see you've got the usual suspects of clarity and structure in there.
Yep, and what's cool about having clarity with structure is that you can kind of see the relationship between a mid-tone contrast adjustment like clarity and then a sort of texture adjustment like your structure and your fine detail tool like your microstructure. And obviously, I'm sort of adding a little bit too much of the effect here, but you can kind of get a good feel
But it's
for what's
perfect for the
happening.
eyes. So if someone like me who does a lot of portraiture and loves having those really strong eyes, the microstructure used sparingly, because it tends to
Is that the key word here?
Yes, sparingly is just it's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely.
So can I paint it just into the eyes?
Yeah, so I was going to just show that really quickly. You kind of set me up for that. Thank you.
I'll
Later
just
too.
lob 'em up
Yeah,
for
that was
you.
super great.
So what you're seeing now is what we're trying to avoid.
Yes.
Okay, so that's bad.
This
That's
is
bad.
not so great. But if we take the brush tool, because I was really just paying attention to the eyes there, and we just brush it into his iris there, we get this really nice fine detail. And then if we zoom out, we've got this really cool sort of finished portrait
Oh, wow,
image.
yeah, you can see it on the eyes.
Take a look at that before and after. Again, a really stark photograph, maybe not necessarily the direction that most folks would take most portraits, but you can kind of get some, a good feel for the potential.
But that's the thing, yeah. I look at the before and the after and think about whatever your vision is and how easily you can come up with your signature look or looks.
And that's what this is about,
That's
really.
the power of this, absolutely.
Awesome. So I assume it's available today, right?
Yep, absolutely. So you can find the non-pro version at the Mac App Store for $24.99 or Tonality Pro for $69.99 at macphun.com.
And so the pro version, does that get you the standalone and the plug-in version, or are they separate?
Nope, that gets you the whole kit and caboodle for the standalone and the plug-in for Photoshop, Lightroom, Aperture, and Photoshop Elements.
And you guys make obviously more than just tonality. If I want to get them all,
Absolutely.
do you kind of lump this all into everything?
Yep. So we have the Creative Kit Plus, which is $149.99, and that comes with Focus 2 Pro, Tonality Pro, Intensify Pro, and then Snap Peel Pro.
Got to remember that all, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, Alan,
Yes,
you've got vision for this.
I do.
We've talked about this.
I do, I love this.
So I think kind of earlier you alluded that you might even develop some presets.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's about sharing and helping everyone in this community grow.
How about textures?
Absolutely, I do a lot of texture work, and I love this particular product for some of the work that I'm doing and evolving to. And I've also been collecting textures for a very long time, and I figured I'd offer them up, through this.
And if people want to find out more about you, your website?
AlanShapiroPhotography.com and always Google+, because that's my hangout place.
Cool. Well, Alan, thank you for kind of being here as our resident guru in this. And Dan, thanks so much for introducing everybody to it. We can find out more over at Macphun.com.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Guys, thanks so much.
Rockin'.
Folks, we'll see you again soon.
Very cool.